Welcome to Beatsource Tech. My name is Mojaxx and today we're talking about one of the rare products in the world of DJing, which is one that you might already own despite having not deliberately gone out to buy one. We're talking about the Innofader. Lots of DJ gear shares internal components with hardware from other brands, pots, faders, DACs, etc. Some kit from different brands even starts life in the same factory. See Handpin Super OEM turntables for a great example of that. But unlike in, say, the cycling world, where bike manufacturers all fit the latest group sets from Shimano or SRAM, it's extremely rare to see a branded third-party component mentioned in the spec list of DJ hardware. So rare, in fact, that I think Audio Innovate are the only company achieving that in the current market. Correct me in the comments if you can think of another. Why is the Innofader so unique? Well, firstly, designing and building a reliable high-performance crossfader is hard, and it requires significant investment. And secondly, Innofaders aren't crazy expensive, even at retail price. The Mini starts at just $60. So it's not really surprising that lots of brands choose to spec their gear with Innofaders in the crossfader slot as standard. It's a turnkey solution which saves them a lot of time and money. Plus, it is a name which DJs trust. Regular viewers will know I'm always delighted when a new piece of gear turns up which has an Innofader as standard, because I know that's an element I just don't have to worry about. And that's been the case in just the past few months, with the Stanton STX portable turntable and Master Sound's Valve Mark II mixer arriving sporting minis on board. Full reviews on both are coming soon. I always know with the Mini that it's going to cut really well, and I have yet to wear out or break one in over 10 years of using them. They use capacitance, contactless technology, and require very little maintenance, so they just keep on trucking. But whilst the Innofader Mini is a great product, there will always be those who want more, and that's where Audio Innovate's latest release comes in, the Innofader PNP3. It's priced at $175 in the US, which makes it substantially more than the Mini, but it's roughly in line with what the older Pro 2 costs, and it's easy to see where the extra money is gone. As the name implies, the PNP3 is the third generation of their plug-and-play fader, and it's designed to fit into more hardware than their earlier full-body faders. The main way they've achieved that is by making it a touch smaller. The depth is now 38mm as opposed to 45mm. That means it will fit into the Pioneer DJ Rev 7 and DDJ 1000, and I'd assume therefore the Flex 10, but you'll have to confirm that with Audio Innovate, where the older models wouldn't. It will also fit into the aforementioned Stanton STX, which is quite a feat, fitting a full body fader into a portable. It is compatible with a huge array of devices, the only notable ones missing being the latest rain gear. They do things so differently from other manufacturers that Audio Innovate had to make a special rain version of the PNP3, which is available at the same price. They've also made actually installing the thing a lot more straightforward. With older models you had to do polarity tests and that kind of stuff to get it set up correctly, but with the PNP3 that's no longer needed. Don't get me wrong, it's still probably not a 5-minute job. It took me the best part of an hour to get it right with my DJM S9, but there was a bit less head scratching than there used to be with older ones like the Pro 2. Speaking of the Pro 2, that's still a current model and I suspect will remain so, as it works with a few older mixers which the PNP3 doesn't, and it offers an insane amount of adjustability. Some really hardcore turntablists may want that for sure, but thanks to the adjustment dials and presets available on the PNP3, I actually think there's more than enough fine-tuning on offer for 99% of DJs. I really like those big new cut and curve dials. They're more tactile and easier to use than those on the PNP2, which required a screwdriver to use. As with the older models, the PNP3 comes with a bunch of different leads, plates and screws to enable fitting it into a wide variety of hardware. Thanks to the streamlining of the electronics, there's actually less than before though, and everything is a little more logical. As always with Innofaders, there's a little screwdriver included as well as a small tube of deoxit lube. There are two fader caps which aren't actually identical. One sits higher on the stem than the other to accommodate different fader slots, and on the subject of the stem, they also include a spare one of those. Now, I've never broken an Innofader stem, even on a Mini, but I'm sure that some will really appreciate the inclusion of that. When it comes to performance, the PNP3 is simply superb. Please forgive my lack of skills, but you can hear just how sharp and clean the cut is here. I've used mini Innofaders so much in recent years, I wasn't sure I'd actually be able to feel much difference when using the PNP3, but in reality, yeah, I absolutely could. Most of that is down to the momentum of it. It's a bigger fader with a more chunky stem, and that does make it respond differently to the pressure from your digits. It's not about tension out of the box, that is set roughly the same as on the Mini, although the PNP3 does have tension adjustment where the Mini doesn't, so you can tweak that to your own taste. No, it's just about how the PNP3 flows. There's something more satisfying about it. It also has a higher output resolution with 1024 steps instead of 256 on the Mini, which is not something I really noticed, but proper turntablists might. I wanted to really check all this, and it occurred to me that I had an Innofader Mini for the S9 which I'd actually never installed. So I pulled the PNP3 out of the mixer, installed the Mini instead, and gave that a whirl. As you can hear, that cut extremely nicely too. But having done that direct A/B comparison, I was definitely convinced that the PNP3 offers a significant feel upgrade over the Mini. Am I still happy using Minis on DJ hardware? Absolutely. It remains a great fader, and it will be a transformative upgrade if you're coming from, say, a regular alpha fader. But if you're already using a Mini, say one that came as stock in something like an STX, then there is still absolutely reason to upgrade further to the PNP3, in my eyes, just for that feel alone. Are there any negatives to the Innofader experience as a whole? Well, I do think that Audio Innovate have done a great job in general making things as smooth as possible, and their customer service is superb, but I do think their website just needs to be flattened and started over at this point. It contains an absolute wealth of information, as it needs to, but the navigation can be quite confusing. Beyond that though, I really have nothing bad to say about the whole experience of installing, adjusting and using the PNP3. Considering the enormous hurdles that Audio Innovate have to jump through to make the fader work with so much different gear, it's really very impressive just how straightforward they've managed to make it. So there you go, my thoughts on the Innofader PNP3 from Audio Innovate. What I love about these guys is how they continue to evolve their faders, making them easier to install, simpler to adjust, and more compatible with a wider variety of mixers, controllers, and portable turntables. And with the PNP3, what we are seeing is absolutely a product of that evolutionary process. I've never come across an Innofader of any variety that I didn't enjoy using, but the overall experience with the PNP3 makes it my favourite Innofader to date. In the comments this week, tell us about your favourite and maybe least favourite faders of all time. Were you in love with the Eternal fader on your Ekla mixer back in the day, for example, or maybe your Vestax PCV faders? Sound off about your favourite and least favourite faders in those comments. Thank you for watching this episode of Beatsource Tech. I do hope you've enjoyed it or found it useful. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos. I'll see you next time.